GAPsters, welcome to the AI Showcase, a showcase presented by as part of the GAP Educational Hour series. Remember that this is a series by the education team, but we have talent from all GAP, from technology, people, etc., coming in here to present or to share with you the knowledge that they have. The Educational Hour is a regularly scheduled platform hosting GAPsters and education and training events, as I just said. So expect more educational hours in the future, okay? And feature today we have the AI showcase where Gapsters will share a quick presentations on the AI tools that they use in the working day. Okay, so we got 7 speakers in the lineup today. Each speaker will get like 2 to 5 minutes to talk about the AI tools that they use, and we will accept a few questions and then we will move on to the next one. So the first one is Darren Day. You can take it away.
Yep, thanks. And I'll also be hosting, so I'll introduce each of the speakers. They'll send an in-chat message at 2 minutes, and then after 7 minutes, keep everyone mindful of time. Then I'll invite the next. And I am.
Hey, Darren.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but I think your mic is like creating some noise. I think.
I think
I don't know if that's just me.
That's probably my script right here.
Oh, okay.
Thanks though. So let me present my entire screen. Swipe over here. So let me start my timer too. So recently I discovered that Claude AI can be used to generate UI mockups. And I've been using this mockup technique to share concepts with stakeholders so we can all agree on an approach for user story implementation. I first discovered this with the free version of Claude, but it worked out so well, I'm actually paying for Claude now. So what I did is I started with an existing app. The client wanted to be able to attribute build amounts to superintendents, both for the entire bill and at the line level, so that for reports and I think for incentive purposes. So on a whim, I had never tried this before. I took a screenshot of the portion of the app I wanted to change. Here you can see the billing request. It's line items, amounts, notes. There's some personal details in here as well. So I started a conversation with Claude where I simply took the screenshot, posted it into I copied and pasted it into the chat screen, and then this is a very shabby description. I probably should have run my prompt through another AI or through Claude to tighten it up and verify that it understood. But as a zero shot, I said the attached screenshot captures the billing functions of an app. Please add a column called soup with drop downs, et cetera, et cetera. And I'll be darned if it did not generate a React code or a small sample of React code with a preview that was functional. And it did a decent job, but the superintendent with drop downs, there were actual names in there. I wanted to shift the superintendent column over to the end. So I dropped another sloppy prompt in there. Please move the superintendent drop down to the far right. It did it for the top, not for these, but that was an easy interaction I just prompted again and said, move it so that it's in this order: service type, notes, amount, superintendent. And every time it would generate a new version of the React code that I could play with. What was interesting is my network access blipped for a second, and Claude generated some flawed code, but it actually offered to fix it, and sure enough, it fixed it. Then at the bottom of these generated code examples, it actually offered to publish the artifact. And sure enough, here it is. This was something I could send directly to the client and to the people who would help me with the UI work. And it was great. It was a lot easier than than trying to modify the actual code to represent this idea or a napkin sketch. The entire conversation is here. I can demonstrate this quickly if Claude is running. So again, I just simply took a prompt and a screenshot. What's interesting is how this is slightly different every time. Asked it to run. Hopefully we're thinking deeply. And it's fun to watch it actually cook a little bit. This is all functional React code. When I first saw this, I was thinking, oh, I'm going to have to figure out how to host this React code so I can take a look at it. But give it a second while it crunches. And it's been interesting how it varies. Sometimes it implements the idea in slightly different ways. So yeah, this time it's calling it an override superintendent. Here's the code here. You can publish this code, and it's fully functional. See, in this version, it called it a default superintendent, and it changes it where it's not overridden. So yeah, this has been amazing to me. I'm honestly still amazed by it. And you can continue to punch it up. Sometimes it includes the customer name, and I ask it to just genericize what it generates, and sure enough, it'll change it to ABC customer instead. Does anybody have any questions? If not, oh yeah, go ahead.
Uh, this is awesome, Lauren. Thank you. I'm wondering, have you tried to change the look and feel of the application somehow, like asking to make it more like modern or minimalist? Well, it's already minimalistic, but kind of these kind of different changes to see how it looks.
Let's try it. Let's see how it pivots it. At least Claude is being responsive today. And I do want to emphasize, when I first tried this, I tried it with the free version. You'll run into limits on usage, but I mean, it worked just fine the time I tried it. I'm curious to see what it generates here. And taking screenshots of this and even sharing the links has been perfect to work with customers. That's interesting. I don't know if I love it, but it certainly tried its best to strip things down. Yeah, it made that override a little more interesting. That was a great question. Thank you. Who else? Maria. Oh, I stopped presenting. Darn it. What's up?
Yeah, I was wondering if you have tried this with another AI assistant, or you only had like results with Claude.
So I actually tried with Gemini because that was what I was paying for originally, and it was so elusive. It described a beautiful form that it would give me if only it could show me a picture of it. And I asked it to generate an image, and it just struggled with that. So on a whim, I tried on Claude, and it went kaboom just immediately. And this was 2 or 3 months ago. So Claude did it right out of the gate. And I'm sure that there are other, and I think Claude focuses on programming assist, and Gemini is more general purpose. And it's possible Gemini and Google has introduced some more code-oriented agentic behavior.
Oh, it's really neat. Thank you.
Yeah. So I guess I would say if it doesn't work on one, try it in another. A lot of them are offering freebies. Yeah, what's up, Ron?
Yeah, could you target Angular or Blazor or anything else besides React?
I don't know if it would render it in line, but let's see. What would this look like in Blazor for .NET Core? I mean, it's cooking. We'll see. I don't think I have time to actually copy this down and run it, but this is wild. Yeah, go Blazor. Yep. And I wonder in the future if what people will do, like me, is, and I've done this before, I'll write a first stab at something and something I'm comfortable with, Ruby, or even a bash shell, and then I'll ask Copilot or Claude, I'll say, now give me this in Go or give me this in .NET, and then I have something that is appropriate in that environment, the target environment that's most appropriate for the solution I'm working on. And I can code stuff, in Ruby without a thought, and then I can put it into Go, modify that, because I understand enough about Go to modify something, but maybe not start from scratch, and have a binary I can run in places. Anybody else have any more questions? think I'm going to have to limit myself and pass the torch over to Daniel Blanco, so everyone has some time. Thank you, guys. You ready, Daniel?
Yes. Let me share my screen really quick. Okay. Are you able to see my screen? Yes. Okay, great. So here I'm going to show how to install and use Copilot with Neobin. That's what I usually use because I like it and for speed and customization. So here, the first thing you need to do is just go to the Copilot web page, click on Get Started for free, and you can select Neobin from the options there. So this will give you some instructions on how to get started, but the easy way is just to go to your Neobin configuration. I'm using Kickstart. For those who know about Bing, know that Kickstart lets you do a lot of stuff and configure very well the IDE. So you just go and add the plugin, and that's pretty much it. The plugin will allow you to do several stuff like code generation. For example, I have here a project. Let's see. So if let's say I want to add here a test for account name length, and then I just do this, and that the application will, well, it's Python, sorry. And the application will just complete the rest for me. Also, if I need to add more specific code, like I am writing interfaces or something like that, I can just, for example, have this Teams repo file here on the left side. And if I want to fill all of this, Copilot will find out what I need, and I just hit tab, and it will basically fill all the functions that I need. Right. If I need to add documentation, get all themes, and it will help me with the arguments, right? And the return objects. And so you basically go and just hit tab every time that you need to fill something, right? That's the easy part of Copilot here with Neobin. One of the funny things that I found here using Copilot in my code is that the suggestions are better when I'm using static typed languages like Rust, TypeScript, Java, .NET, and this is because the context that types provide is better than dynamic languages like Python or Ruby. And in dynamic languages is mostly because the context comes from comments and variable names and function names. In here, the application can read the types and infer better what I need. Another thing that is important to notice is that Copilot will give me suggestions based on the buffer context. So I have here these two buffers open. So Copilot will know about this theme struct and will know about this themes repo file. But also, if I have other windows open, Copilot will know about those. So if I have all of these buffers available in my code, so Copilot will keep track of those and give me suggestions based on that. Any questions so far? Yeah, Darren, go ahead.
So when you're using it with VS Code, you can highlight sections of code and target Copilot. Provide the context with a selection.
Yeah.
That Neovim?
Yeah, that's not available yet in Neovim. In fact, that's a limitation for this plugin, that there is an absence of dedicated question window, and there is an absence of just highlighting this and asking for a feedback from Copilot. There is a plugin available that let me see if I can Copilot on it. See if I can show it to you. This is it. This Avante plugin. And basically, this plugin does show a window, and you can select portions, and basically does pretty much everything that you get in VS Code. The problem that I have with this plugin is that it can suspend the Copilot account because there is an issue due to rapid token regeneration. So until this is fixed, I am staying away from this unless I use another AI assistant like Claude, for example. If I use Claude, this plugin works fantastic, right? And the plugin gives you a chat window like you have in VS Code, and that way you can request for more auto-generated code and do diffs. The code that it is generated, you can do a diff with your current code, and you can accept it or reject it, and do all kind of stuff in Neovim. Does that answer your question?
It does. And wow, it's fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, this is it. There's not much to it. Like I said, you can auto-generate code. You can auto-generate test cases. That's something that I use the plugin a lot to generate test cases for many files and models and the code. And the only thing or the only problem is that if I need to do some question related to architecture or something else, I need to go to the web browser and ask Claude or ask ChatGPT if to help me there. Yes, Jenny.
Yes. What type of test cases does it generate? Is more like unit testing or other kind?
Well, it depends on the context that you are showing Copilot, because if I want unit testing, right, I can basically do this, right, and it writes me a lot of unit tests, right? But if you want something different, it needs to have some kind of context, and it will help you write tests for that context, basically. So it depends on what you show to the Copilot AI, right? Yes, Darren.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. If you make the context, I think of it as like kind of like clearing some space. If you
Mhm.
surround it with the right context, that Copilot will generate some incredible code. Like
Yes.
it can't like run off on its own and like provide the structure, but if you like give it a blank, it'll fill it beautifully.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And also, if you need to, let's say I want to create a test uh, to something else, you just need to specify the kind of test that you want here, and it will help you with the rest, right? So let's see, pause, and it will help you with filling all the documentation or all the code that you need for test, even if it doesn't make sense for the context right now, because this code doesn't make sense in this file, but it can help you write everything that you need. I saw another hand raised. Was Maria? Yeah.
Yeah. Hello. I was just wondering, how safe is this extension, since with all the dangers right now of having AI like grab and have the code on their databases, on their model. How safe it's, for example, paste some, well, select some code and say, hey, help me with this or help me with that.
Great question. So it's pretty safe in the context that Copilot is working on their corporate account, GAPS account. So when after you install the plugin, you need to run Copilot setup, and it will tell you that I am here. I don't know if you can see it here at the bottom, but it says authenticated as GitHub user GAP de Blanco.
Okay, so basically it's using
Yeah.
Copilot, like, yeah, and Copilot we know is safe, but yeah, I would
Yeah.
just, for instance, it's like a plugin thing.
Yeah, the all the data will go through to the GAPS corporate account, and the plugin is open source, so it's you can read the code, and it's pretty much safe. So all that we have here is contained within the GAPS account. But having said that, usually I don't try to show or to have sensitive data in my code, such as API keys or password or confidential business logic, since I usually try to handle that using bolts or any other tools, to handle that kind of information. But yeah, I think it's pretty safe.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question?
Yeah, this is great stuff, Daniel. It's interesting to see Vim interacting with the 21st century, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's like adding I don't know, like a turbo engine to a really old car.
Yep.
Right? But
no, I love Vim, so
yeah, it's working great so far.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think Jennifer's next. You ready?
Sure, I'm ready. Let me share my screen.
Perfect.
Please let me know when you can see it. Okay, thank you. Well, in my case, I'm going to talk, well, I am part of the QA team. I am a QA engineer, and I want to talk about the functionality that we have in ChatGPT, which is called MyGPT, which is a feature where we can create a kind of assistant for a specific task depending on what we need to do. In my case, since I am QA, I have prepared a couple of examples related with the QA tasks. One is a bug report assistant, where basically we will need to send a short description of the issue. And in this case, I am using also as an input the image of the page with the issue. And on the other hand, we have a CSS selector generator, which is useful when we are QA automation engineers. And especially when someone is starting in this area, sometimes it's difficult to understand how to generate good selectors in order to manipulate the web elements in the page. So before seeing the example, something super important, and it's a warning, it's before using any information, confirm that it's not sensitive and can be safe shared with the AI, especially if you are using a free account, right? So something important, don't share credentials, don't share information of your company, and before sharing images of the application, confirm that you can do it with AI, right? So let's see the example. Here in ChatGPT, we have this icon where we can click, and there is an option called My GPTs. So it's going to redirect us to the GPTs list. And here is where I have some examples. The one that I'm going to show first is this one, the report assistant. So basically in this GPT, I configure it before, well, and if you see, the first option is where you can create one from scratch. I already created the GPTs to reduce the time, but here basically is where you are going to interact, and it's going to help you asking some questions in order to see what is the task that you want to automate or the assistant that you want to create. The first one that we are going to see is this one. If you click on Configure tab, also you can see the information in the instructions. Basically here I defined the template of the bug report that I want, and also provide short information about what I want, and say that I'm going to send an image to do it. So the GPT is ready. So basically I'm going to use this page, which is the South demo page. And here, imagine that I included the correct credentials, the user or password. I click on login, but the system doesn't allow me to continue because there is an issue. It says that the username and password does not match. So I'm going to take a screenshot of it, copy the screenshot, go back to the GPT. Let me hide this. And also I have a short, super short description here to reduce time of the issue. So basically I'm saying something short. When I enter the correct username and password into the login page, the system indicates that the username and password do not match. I send this information, and here the GPT is analyzing the information, and if you see, in less than a minute, in few seconds, I have the report completed. So I have the title, descriptions. If you see something interesting, is that I didn't provide in the text anything related with the issue, but it was able to get information from the picture and understand that it was a warning, an error for the user. Also, let me see what else. It's understood the name of the page and the username that I am using in this case. Provide the expected result, the current result, and of course we have the screenshot. So we copy this and go to Jira or whatever tool that you're using to report a ticket, and in few seconds you have the bug already created. Important, of course, as always, is an assistant. You are the expert, so you should read the information here before creating the bug, right? In order to be sure that everything is correct and accurate. And the second example, another GPT that I have, is the CSS selector generator. So here, basically, we are going to use the same page. Let me refresh to remove the error. And imagine that you want to automate this page with, for instance, Cypress. So you need to include the list of elements that you are going to interact. So it can be the login button, username, password. So we are going to use the HTML of this page. clicking on copy the HTML. This GPT was configured to receive as an input the HTML and again an image of the elements that I want to generate the selector. So we are going to copy the login button. And paste it here. It's the only thing that I need to include. And let's see what happens. So it is able to understand that in the HTML, there is a login button, and it finds that this is the locator or selector that I need to use. And if we test it in the HTML, you can see this is the button that I need. So, and it's a good locator. Now, what happened if I copy several? I mean, let's copy 3 of them in the same image. And paste it. And now, since I am interacting with the GPT, I don't need to enter again the HTML. I just need to include the image in this case. And let's see what happened. So if you see, it's able to understand there is a username, a password, and also again the login. It provides the different locators. Let's validate one of them. And if you see, this is the password that we need. So the other, of course, it's not perfect. I think I tried this image in the morning and it didn't work. So again, you are desperate. You also important, you can continue or you can improve it in the configuration. Super important, if you are doing something and you update something here, it's going to remove the information that you had. So be careful about it. And another interesting thing is that also you can share the GPTs with other coworkers. So if you create something that is very nice for your team, something that creates cases, something that report bugs, and you want to share it with the rest of the team or with someone else, you can click on create, and here you can add the name of someone in your team and share it with that person, and that person can use it as you. And I think also they can configure it and modify things here. And well, let me see what else. Yes, I think this is all. And well, if you see, I have several things here. So this is an example in the QA field, but of course it can be used in different areas depending on what you need. For instance, if you are an interviewer evaluator, or if you are a Scrum Master and you need to create user stories, things like that. So I think this is all from my side. I don't know if you have questions. Darren.
How easily can you export the results? Design the bug report assistant, for example. Is it generating Markdown that you copy and paste, or can you actually get it in PDFs and other format? How do you move stuff out of out of a Chat GPT and into other products?
Well, I haven't tested, but we can test it. Let's do something like do in order to generate the error again. Let's copy it. This is the error, all the image. This is the context. I'm going to generate first the error, and then I'll ask to generate the PDF. Generate a PDF file with this information.
Oh, copy and paste it. That's funny.
Yeah.
Maybe fair enough, right?
It seems that it created something, but I don't see if we can download it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe it doesn't work
CSV.
so well. Sorry, Sonia.
Ask for a CSV.
Let's see. It says that you can download it. The CSV is here. And you can copy again and paste it. but it seems you cannot download it.
Yeah. Very cool though.
Yeah, but good question. We have Emma.
I'm wondering, I have seen that usually when you use GPTs, there is a copy to clipboard icon. I don't know why it's not here, but it's usually here. Not sure if after I refresh it appears again or something, but not sure what is missing this time.
Yeah,
I
I
have
mean,
usually the answers have a paste to a copy to clipboard bottom below. Not sure why what is not there. But anyway,
yeah, something to research. So far, it seems that we can, yeah, generate, copy, and paste where we need. Any other question?
Yeah.
Otman.
Hi. Yes, I have a question. I mean, about this the book report system.
Mhm.
So, have you tried, or do you know if it's possible to do something similar, but using videos instead of images?
No, I haven't tested with videos yet, but I think it's something good to do. I'm not sure because I noticed that with images recently, or maybe it's because I noticed it recently, it was able to understand text, images, elements, everything there. Probably it should be able to do the same with videos. Darren, uh-huh.
Yeah, just a side chat on Gemini on which ones share best.
Yeah, but it's something nice to do and maybe share with in the next session. Well, I think this is all. So thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. Your use of the custom prompt in GPTs, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Francisco, are you ready to go?
Oh, sure am. All right. Let's see what's happening. All right. So for my talk, or showcase, I'm going to focus on expediting the creation of utility scripts with the help of OpenAI, the OpenAI API. Before I get into the details, I started by posing the question, why should we try to use more of these tools? So I think first and foremost, if we use them wisely, it can definitely give us time. It can help us save time. When we engage in prompt engineering, I like to think we're also exercising some of the same muscles we normally use as software developers, because we need to write down requirements, understand the problem we're trying to solve before we can go ask the magical AI to give us a hand. It's also a cool opportunity to try out new frameworks, libraries, technologies by doing it. So the learning of those technologies can be also expedited, as we no longer need to rely on a book or just the documentation. We can more interactively use those different libraries or technologies and learn by doing. And finally, I think it can be a fun and creative output as well. So having fun is always important, and being creative, I think, is also quite valuable. The thing I want to look at is specifically the utility scripts. I think as programmers, we often find ourselves in a situation like this, where there's a task that maybe we don't love doing, and we think, should I automate this? Question, can we automate it, is normally yes, we can. But of course, should we do it? That's almost always a no, because the time, effort is going to take for us to fix or automate any given task, going to take more time than what we're trying to solve for. So yeah, that's inconvenient, and I think that urge we sometimes get to automate it it's what makes us developers, engineers. We like to solve problems, but yeah, time is always the most valuable asset we have. But that's where, well, actually, yeah, first let me talk about this specific use case. So one of the tasks we have to do is keep track of all the meetings we have, jot down notes. Also, it's sometimes useful to go over a recording of a meeting if we have one, like take some additional notes, and try to do a summary that we can then like communicate to someone. But yeah, of course, so this is definitely too complex to automate. It wouldn't have even crossed my mind that this is something we could automate. But then, of course, this new technology emerged, and OpenAI API came in really handy. So it's definitely expedited the way we can do this sort of exercises. And if we do it right, a lot of these things can be achieved almost automatically. So let's go back to that example. You know, I have meetings, I have some recordings. I also like to report it back to people or just have them for my own reference. But yeah, going through a recording is something tedious and like it can get lost in all your notes. So yeah, I Googled if there's any tool, and I discovered there's Whisper, which is offered by OpenAI. And it's a model that does speech recognition and can transform it into text. You might be thinking, okay, great. So there's a library that does what you're trying to do. That's nothing new. Of course, there's an app for everything. However, that Steve Jobs' quote was, there's probably something that already solved the problem. But when it comes to libraries, or like, SDKs, sometimes the problem is solved. Okay, so you now know of a library, you can need to go into it, learn it, read the documentation. Again, tedious, probably not worth the hassle or the time commitment. But then that's where Copilot can be leveraged as well. So for this particular case, I asked it the problem I had is, okay, I want to create a little script of sorts, in this case, a Jupyter notebook that can do that. I can give it like a recording that we get from, you know, the different conference apps like Zoom, and I want to have a transcript for it. And well, actually, I have it here. So if you do like a good prompt, it will normally even tell you the steps you need to do everything, not only the code. For example, it tells you, okay, you definitely need to install the OpenAI library with pip, and then it gives you like a snippet that you can later put into your code. As you know, my colleagues have pointed out, at the end of the day, you're always the expert. So some things you need to do a little bit of tweaking around. But yeah, in this case, I did. I took the output from Copilot, put it into a Jupyter notebook, and yeah, I got it to work. I was able to get a transcript for what I was trying to achieve. So I went from having to have gone and read about the documentation and everything to just pretty much having a plug and play model where you can take the output, if there's some syntax errors, fix them, and you get your solution ready. But I guess, and this is an important caveat here, I say you can iterate as much as it's sensible, because of course, you know, as engineers, we always like to, everything can be improved. But in this particular case, since it had taken me so little time, I figured, okay, maybe this could be a little bit more user-friendly or a little bit more portable. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to like add all the prompts that I used. I intend to upload this later. But Copilot, here I'm using the web client, but it also offers different plugins and integration with the IDEs. So let's see, maybe we have time to take a look at this real quick. So here I have, like, again, example output I took from you know, the Copilot after a little bit of refinement. And specifically here, besides transcribing it, I also figured, okay, GPT can also be used to do like a summary of the transcript. So prompt engineering can be used to solve for prompt engineering too. So here I can do something like, this is the Copilot plugin for PyCharm, which I find really nifty. You can like reference a file specifically in your chat prompt, and I can say, I want you to help me write a system prompt for a GPT model that should make sure the transcript of a meeting I provide is summarized, and it also adds action items. And then, yeah, it gives me a prompt I can use for my prompting. So I'm probably running out of time, but I want to show you the final result. This was all really, again, expedited. Like, I think I achieved it like under.
Oh no! What the
I
heck?
think we lost him.
Yeah, definitely. Just when we were getting to the grand finale, that stinks. Gosh, I swear I didn't boot the guy. I wanted to see what the heck he was. I wanted to see the good stuff, but maybe while we wait for him to rejoin, do you want to hop on, Will?
Sure. If you want me, I can just get started. But it's gonna be weird when he comes back. Like, anyway, let me start. I wasn't as prepared as Francisco was. He had some very nice slides. So I have a couple of things that I'm going to be showing, which are, I want to see this more like, tips and tricks on, things that open my mind a little bit when trying to use AI. So for those who don't know me, I work on the sales department. So I don't do any coding anymore, unfortunately, I guess. But, I do try to use AI every day. And, yeah, even a couple of months ago, I kind of knew that I needed to use it. Everybody's talking about it, everybody's using it, everybody's being more productive with it, but I just never, knew where to use it. So, I started finally diving a little bit more into this. And, those are kind of the tricks that I have here that I'm going to show a couple of examples of how I use it. Again, not code related, but, in many of the things that we do every day, whether it's communicating with a client, understanding requirements, brainstorming with the team, there are places where we can definitely use AI, right? So let me share my screen and start with the first point that I wanted to mention, which is, regarding AI, use it. One of the key things to me, sorry, I was getting a message there. One of the key things to me is, with the number of things that come out every day on AI, knowing whether something is possible, it's sometimes tricky, right? And again, there is no way to keep up with the literally hundreds of new companies that come out every month. And so one way that I find, useful is pages like this, which basically tell you, in this case, this is called What AI Can Do Today, right? And there are hundreds or probably thousands of different tools to, do whatever you want, from, design a tattoo to replace the face in an image with somebody else's, right? So stuff like this, it's useful. And again, if you think of something, Allman was asking whether there was something to use test cases with video, use something like this to look it up. The interesting thing is, again, all of this is changing every day. There might be things that are similar that will evolve, right? And if not, maybe you can build it and have your own startup. Please don't, because we don't want to lose you. But, there are so many things out there, right? So the first thing is use it. And I try to use AI every day, even if it's for something simple. I'm typing an email for a client, select the text that I just typed, and, put it on the AI, improve this, make it, shorter, more concise, whatever, just use it. I think that's key. And once you start to realize how many things you can actually do, you're gonna, start finding additional things and additional improvements. So that is one. Now, the other thing that to me is very, very good, and it was, or it has been a very good time saver, is being able to talk to it. I have been using Gemini, again, for a couple of months, daily, pretty much. Luckily, now we have the version in the workspace, so that's good. But before that, my phone actually came with the paid version of it, so I was really using that one. But being able to talk to it, it's amazing. Especially, a couple of reasons. One is it's really hard to think in a structured way. sometimes, especially when you are doing some brainstorming or you're, thinking about, new ideas for something that you want to do, your mind goes all over the place. And the beauty of using, the dictate feature, using the mic, is that you can just talk to it like that in an unstructured way. You can go back, you can say, actually scratch that, like uh let's not include that, or let's, maybe do this other thing, and you can just talk to it for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then it can actually generate something structured with all the points that you have. Then you can, review, maybe make some suggestions, right? This example that I have here is something like that. One of the things that I do every day is I talk to clients. They have an application that they want to migrate, and I kind of understand what their needs are, and then I get some ideas on what we're going to propose, what delivery levels. I analyze maybe the assessment report that they send, and I do something like this, right? I'm preparing a ballpark estimates document for a customer, then I give some context, and like in this case, I told it, I'll keep adding data and I'll let you know when I want to a reply, or I want you to reply, right? And so I just kept doing that, right? Again, I'm just talking. And after all of this, I ended up, asking for, a summary of what I just mentioned, and please be as detailed as possible, right? So I get this very nice structured map of my thinking about this project. This is useful, to, for two things. If you want to save this, right, for future, I end up talking to, I don't know, 20 different customers every week, and sometimes I need to come back in a couple of weeks. I don't remember anything, so this is very good. And also, I can use this as an input for the next thing that I use, which is this one, Notebook LM. Notebook LM, it's used, it's available now for everybody in Workspace, right? This is from Google, and it has helped me a lot with something that I do every day. And again, this can be used for many things, but in particular for me, it's creating proposals for clients, whether that is a ballpark high-level estimate document for the client, or whether it's a services offering or proposal. And what I love about this is that I can add a bunch of different sources. Like in this case, I added things like transcripts from calls with the client, internal calls, right? So that it gets all that context. Basically, you are training that model on that specific thing, right? So transcripts, I get templates from previous proposals. I add links to our website because I want to use a couple of, previous use cases or success stories from previous clients. I add all of that, and then I tell it, look, I want to create another document that, it can be like whatever proposal we had for a previous client, but I want to use the information from the transcripts, right? And I just ask for it, give me an introduction for the document and base it on this particular document, right? So it's going to go ahead and generate that specifically. And then I can tweak it. For example, it generated a bunch of paragraphs, and then it said that Michelle, who's the one I've been talking to, is the owner of the company. So I'm like, no, that's not Michelle, right? So I ended up just, clarifying that. I added a note, entered it there. Same thing, again, that information that I generated with Gemini, I went ahead and put it as part of that set of sources for that particular document. And again, then I can ask whatever, The other thing that can be done here, or it can be done on Gemini, which to me also was a game changer, is that because we are so used to using Google as, a search engine, it was very natural, and it is because I have seen so many people using these models as kind of a better version of Google, right? You create a prompt, you ask for an answer, and it gives you that. But one of the unique things about Gemini, and I know a lot of you have already been doing this, but for those who haven't, it's using it as an assistant. Do things like using brainstorming or brainstormer, right? Which is, I'm preparing a proposal for a CTO of a technology company or whatever manufacturing company, right? I want you to think like this person and ask me one by one, what are the things that you would like to know about the project that we are proposing, right? So I give it all the context, and then I have it as kind of a person, or as an assistant that will ask me questions about the specific proposal, and that typically will get me to think about things that I hadn't thought before, right? Because it goes and uses the entire model to do that, right? So it's gonna ask questions that I never thought about. It will dive into things that I wasn't really thinking of, and sometimes it might not be relevant, and I can say, no, that is not relevant because what we are proposing is this and this. So it will adapt and it will continue acting. So those kinds of things are very interesting, because once you do all of that, then it will have all of that updated context, and then you can use it for other things. So those are kind of the tricks that I wanted to mention, or the tips, right? 1, use it. 2, talk to it. 3, use it as an assistant, not just a search engine. Use it as something that can ask you questions, and that will really change the way you interact with it. All right, go ahead.
With Notebook LLM, do you run into context window limits, or does it do a pretty good job of?
I haven't yet. There is a limit on the number of sources. Like, if I come here, it tells me that there is a limit of 300 sources, which it's quite impressive. And again, that's just getting started. And, you can actually link it to Google Drive elements. So you can go to, our repos. This is something that at some point, I think we should invest a little bit of time in each department on creating those repos that can be used for something like this. For example, one that I really want to do is, part of my daily interaction with customers is they have questions about the tools or the services, whatnot. Questions that I've seen answered hundreds of times, literally, in my 18 years at the company, right? So having a repo of all of those emails and documents and everything for that specific scenario, it's something that we could do, and we can create a notebook that can be shared, across everybody who uses that. And I bet that every department will have their own set of things that they will want to just have that repo and be able to ask questions, to it. So it's kind of a custom chat that you can, create directly there. Okay. Emmanuel?
I just I just wanted to. I have kind of a proposal to make. Sounds, as you were mentioning, Will, some of these tools, when you start using them, when you start playing with them, when you start treating them as agents, it opens your mind. And as much as you see usages of this, you start thinking about, okay, how I can use it in this other way, right? So something. I know this showcase has as a one of the objectives, of course, but I would like to propose to use the AI the AI channel that we have, put kind of a thread all together, the guys that are here, and we can put it in the chat as well. Like, what usages are you having for the different AI tools? Like, just take 5 minutes and you open your favorite LLM and I start looking. I use it to ask something medical. I ask it for maintenance of a spa, of a jacuzzi. I use it for a lot of different things. So I would like to propose that as something that we can play around and open our minds about how I use it, personal way and also professional way in your work. How is enhancing your work? How you are rewriting? What are you rewriting? That kind of things.
Yeah, and again, once you start doing it, it's like, oh, then everything can probably be solved, or at least I can save time. One of the things that came to mind, for example, when Jennifer was talking about creating a GPT to generate a selector for something, I'm like, yes, that makes a lot of sense in the way we're used to kind of testing these applications. But then the other day I was looking at some video-based test case generation. So you, instead of actually adding the selector for a specific component, the person was demoing, just telling it what they wanted to select, right? And so it will automatically figure it out. And that's amazing because, next time, it doesn't matter if the markup changed and the selector is no longer valid, because it is actually using natural language to select that element. So things like that, sometimes start to, kind of snowball into other things, and you end up with a completely different approach to problems that you were, used to solving before.
Amazing stuff. Yeah, I especially love how you say to the LLM, hold your questions until the end and then tell me what I just said. That's brilliant. That's a good way to interact.
Yeah. The other great thing about that is that, or about any of these models, is that, if you're not comfortable enough with English, you can do it in Spanish and then ask it to generate the summary in English, right? The fact that language is no longer a consideration, it's basically transparent for all of these models. It's just mind blowing, right? So that is another good thing.
Yep, it is my. Oh, go ahead.
I have a question about talking in other languages. Do you think you get the same kind of quality in the responses if you speak in English or if you speak in Spanish? Or is it better to speak English?
I think it depends on the model, and to be honest, I haven't really used it that much in Spanish. I have used it. What I have seen, it's really good, but I haven't, used it in a deep enough level to tell you with confidence, yes, it's the same.
Thank you.
Emma.
I want to share my experience. I have used ChatGPT a lot in Spanish, and it works perfectly. So that's my experience on that side. With Gemini, I have been trying using in Spanish and not that well, really. At least from my experience, I haven't used it too much recently, but that has been my experience so far.
Perfect.
Yep.
Darren?
Yep. Good stuff, Will. Brilliant. Daniel, you ready? Daniel, yeah,
Yes.
Daniel.
I'm here.
Yeah, awesome.
Give me just a second.
Okay.
So I wanted to share like a small showcase of how yeah, there you go. How I have been using AI. At the beginning, I was very skeptical, but every now and then I have been using it, and I have been gaining confidence in how to use it, and which case, and also all of you have been given like great examples. So just as that happened something a little bit ago. So a little bit just about me. I am consider myself just a developer that works in the backend and the front end. Probably most of you will call that full stack, but I will say I am more the backend developer that likes to do front end stuff. I'm not a designer at all. I don't have a design background. If you tell me to create an interface and you give me the design, I'll do it. But if you tell me to create a design from scratch, I'll rather do other things because that will take me a lot of time. So that's about my background. So a little bit of the context of the situation, I use ChatGPT specifically. So we started working on a ticket, and we estimated it, give it points, all the Scrum things that we are supposed to do for a ticket. So this is just a small screenshot of the ticket. This is like part of the design, what I'm supposed to do and get the sign. And I start working on the ticket, and the client comes last seconds and says, hey, we need also another feature. And this is now the new design. The left is the original design of the ticket was estimated on, and this is now the new design. And I was like, okay, how do I do that? What's that even called? How I'm supposed to do that? So how did I use the AI? I did a couple of things. First, since I didn't know even how that was called, I just drag and drop the graph, the image on the in the ChatGPT. He told me, hey, this is a no, I even forgot a gouge graph. So things are very new. I knew based on my experience that I can do it custom, or I can use a library. If I use a library just for a small graph, it will add a lot of lines of code to the page. If I created that custom by hand, I know it can be done in SVG, but I don't know how SVG works. I could find an SVG trying to center or scale a page all day and not get anything done. So I started to wondering, hey, can you actually do the SVG? So I asked the AI to give me like a very rough version of it in a plain SVG, and it didn't look exactly what I needed to, but it was close to. So I spent most of the afternoon using the free version of ChatGPT. I don't pay for that at all. So if you have used ChatGPT, you know that it has a very limited amount of question that you can ask on the free tier, and then it outranks you to the next less capable model. So I just started to hit it with, hey, correct this or align this or move. And on the behind the scenes, it was creating the SVG. So the more information I gave, or the more information I gave to describe the things I needed, it started to create a more accurate version. So since the project is on Vue.js, I just say, hey, because initially I was going just to import SVG, and since we are working in Vue, hey, can you create a component out of this? I need these parameters and needed to work like this, and it created it. I don't have the chat prompts over here because I do it, since I'm still very skeptical of it. I delete the chats, or I do it on temporary chats, just because I'm very skeptical of it. And just what I will take me to do like a couple of days finding SVGs or implementing a library. It took me like 2 hours to implement. I spend more hours testing it and making sure that I make this code standards than actually creating it. And at the end, this is an actual screenshot of the final design. So as you can see, it looks very close and even has this like bar over here, because again, the client updated the design and I said, hey, I have a rough idea to do it. Let's save some time and ask GPT about it. So has been my experience in working with AI. Yeah, that would be it for me. Not sure if anybody has any question, but yeah, that has been my experience.
And I do. I'm so you're concerned about it giving it too much info. So you create new chats and anonymize information then.
Yes. What I did initially is just take the screenshot with all the information about any other things, because one, I want to just give me that specific things, because I have seen that if you get in ChatGPT more information that it might actually need, it will give you very weird results. So I just took a screenshot of that because of that, but also because I don't want to give it like more information than actually needed to relate to the client or the client products. So that was the reasoning behind.
Yep, brilliant. Make the context, build the stage around the context you want it to fill. Good stuff.
Correct.
Thanks. Anybody got any more questions for Daniel? It was a great presentation. A good use. Yeah. Chris, are you ready?
Oops, I was muted. Let me share my screen, and I am ready. All right, hope you can see it now. Darren, can you confirm you can see it?
Yes, we can see it, Chris.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I'm not seeing you all. So mine is a very short story, probably similar to Daniel's, his experience that we had with an issue that it would have got in production if it wasn't by the following steps we took. So a little bit of context: we were having something pretty similar to this grid. As you can see, we can select multiple rows, but what was happening is that when the user selected or clicked on exactly the checkboxes, well, it will be nice. It will be working as expected. But if the user just misclicked just right outside of any checkbox, what would happen is that everything else will become unselected. So imagine how annoying it is that you select like 20 records, 20 rows, and by just clicking right outside of one of the checkboxes, everything else got unselected. Of course, I talked to the developers about this behavior. They explored a couple of options, but they said this is just how AGGrid works, and we have to keep it as is. Of course, as a QA, I wasn't very pleased with that answer, so I decided to give it a shot. And the only information that I had was that it was AGGrid. We were using Angular in this case. So I came up with this really basic prompt. I'm going to read it very quick. I'm a software developer working with AGGrid. I have added checkboxes for the first column to select rows of the grid. The user should be able to select multiple rows. However, if the user clicks on the row, not on the checkbox, all previous selections gets cleared out, which is annoying, of course. Do you know if there's any fix or workaround so the user experience is improved? And well, a couple of seconds, it came back with some configuration suggestions here. I'm not going to read this, but at the end, I talked to the developer. We tried this solution, and it worked. So that was great. We not only saved some time, of course, but time means money, and we also prevented the end user to experience this behavior, which was really annoying, and I knew it was going to come back as a defect report, as a complaint from the end user. So, and that is it. It's a very short story. It's real, and it's just like a reminder that we have these tools, and we should be leveraging on them to for our daily tasks. Of course, as Jen and others have mentioned, always be careful not to add sensitive information. That's pretty much it. So I'm gonna stop sharing, and I don't know if anyone has any comment or question. Yeah, Darren, you go.
So all it took was that prompt, and it suggested 3 possibilities, and you were able to work with the developer to pick the one that worked. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was probably, I think probably they searched on the documentation. Of course, the documentation is there for searching for this kind of, but probably they didn't find any option. But and we were about to release this, but I'm glad we didn't until we fixed it. We fixed it just on time.
Yeah, I would have way overthought it and tried to provide a lot more context. But yes, starting from, hey, I've got a problem. What do you think I should do? is a really smart first step. That's AI first right there. I love it. Thanks.
Sure.
Anybody else have any questions for Chris or for coming out of the showcase at all? All right. Wow. This has been fantastic. I've learned a lot today. Loved it. What I wanted to say is I wanted to thank everyone for attending. It was great to see our colleagues' innovative AI work. And man, when I wrote this earlier, I was thinking, I hope they're innovative, and they really have been. This has been great. I'm sure this recording will be shared soon. It'll probably drop on the invitation to this, but I did want to remind you that it'll be available on the Gapster Hub, and I'm about to share the link to where you'll find it in a few days. I'm going to grab that link. Oh, go ahead, Frank. Oh, Francisco. Yes. Finish up. You've got.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No, good. It was yeah. Someone pointed out layer 8 error. But yeah, I wanted to like just show you like the final thing I was able to accomplish just by leveraging all these tools. Let me share my screen. I can do it quick. All right. As I said, so this allows you to do pretty much plug and play solutions to specific problems. And again, I'm mostly referring, besides, of course, the things we do, for example, the code bases we interact with every day. Maybe there's like a little thing that's outside the scope of the project, but it's related to the project, but not in the code base. So that's where, for example, in my case, using Whisper proved to be really handy. And this was an adequate solution. But then, again, as I said in the beginning, I also used it as an opportunity, since it was so quick, to play around with some other things like Test API and HTMX to do a more presentable or prettier script. So even like let's see if I can full screen this. Yeah, even I used the Copilot to like for some inspiration of the name. I thought it was clever. Source error stone. But anyway, so yeah, a fully working web app that accomplishes the same thing. Where I'm explaining the icon I also created with Gen AI just to make it look a little more polished. And then I'm able to upload recording. In this case, was the recording of the time I was trying to practice doing this presentation. Computer didn't shut off there, but I can upload it, and then can even like format it in a way that is a little prettier. This is real time, of course. It's running locally on my computer, so it takes a second, but it's transcribing and then passing it back to GPT to do the summary of the work. I'm just gonna let it play. It should be like a couple more seconds, unless it takes forever.
In the meantime, Chico, one thing that I was wondering, what's the limit on the amount of audio that can be transcribed? Like, what's the?
I don't know off the top of my head. I think they cap it at I believe it's like 20-minute chunks, but in the documentation of Whisper, for example, there's like some sample snippets of how you can do the chunking and then like send it in batches. Same thing with the transcript once you send it over to. And in my case, I sent the transcript and I told it, please summarize it as you can see here, and then it does like it takes away the main takeaways and conclusions, and it includes some actual verbatim quotes. Again, as always, right, is same as if it was code. It's probably you need to proofread this and like add your own notes, but I think this is going to be valuable for me working. Moving forward, whenever I have to, inform people about the outcome of some meetings or just use them for self-reference. And I think it ended up looking nice, even though I know nothing about design. Just through prompting, it worked, and you can check it out. It's called Sorcerer's Stone in my GitHub if you wanted to. That's it for me. I'm happy to take any questions.
How long was that recording? You just like in minutes? Was it just what you presented earlier? So about 8 minutes worth of audio?
I think it was like on that mic 6 minutes.
That was fast.
Yeah. I was also doing it on like an older model, not this computer, but by my older computer. I think it would be faster if you upload it to like a server or do it in a more powerful computer. It should be even faster. But
do you know which of the Whisper models it's being used?
I believe it's the number one. I can't tell you exactly which one it is, but
okay.
So Whisper 1.
That is pretty amazing.
Agreed. I'm kind of glad that because it's a nice end to the whole showcase. I'm kind of glad you ran out of battery power there, so you could circle back around and give us a snazzy demo at the end. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions? All right, then I'll let everyone get back to their day. This recording will be on the link that I shared in the chat earlier. Enjoy the rest of your day and keep an eye out for the next educational hour in the coming weeks. I wanted to thank our speakers. Thanks so much. This was great information. I appreciate it. Thanks for taking your time to share what you've done so far.